up. Or take them to the post office. That was a convenient location to return the samples. So, like I said, we are not confused. This is a matter of trying to confuse us, and also it's a matter of our officials being totally irresponsible about what they should have done.
And you are somebody who knew the rules of the testing because you in the Navy.
That is correct.
Could you explain how you knew that they were doing it the wrong way?
Well, some years back, I served approximately 23 years in the Navy, and one of my chores, or excuse me, responsibility was to ensure that certain conditions were met when it came to, EPA standards. Now, even though I've been out over 25 years, there are certain criteria that you'll never forget. There's certain routine, there's certain steps that you must take that you never forget. I mean, it's ingrained inside of me. So when you ask questions, knowing that what they're doing and how they're performing the tests are completely wrong, you know this. But then, like I said, once again, these persons, we talk about these persons who are being sent in our homes are at the lowest possible denominator. They are doing what they are told to do in order to receive a paycheck. That's all.
Were you? Okay. Yeah, I'm in Flint. I'm at Fred's home. Fred was on the state Sentinel program. The Sentinel program was the official state program that was used by the state of Michigan to declare Flint's lead levels were improving. And Fred, like dozens of other homes we found, they had gone in, the officials that was with the environmental agency had gone in and ran their water before taking the sample, which is completely illegal. It breaks EPA regulations because if you run the water, even for 30 seconds to a minute, you're flushing out the highest qualities of lead, which could be sitting in your interior fixtures. You're flushing that out. So we knocked on over 400 doors over the summer, and we found that in dozens of homes here on the official state test, it was called the Sentinel program. Dozens of those homes, either state environmental officials, residents on the CORE program, which was a resident program that were hired by the state environmental agency, either the state environmental officials or the Corps workers trained by the state had gone in and basically ran the water, in some cases for 10 to 15 minutes before collecting the sample. In English, they cooked the data. That is, cooking the data to artificially lower the lead levels and declare things, declare the city level low. I wanted to ask you because, you happen to know when they were running your water that they were doing it the wrong way. Majority of people in this city or around the country, I would imagine, are just happy somebody's in their home and they think, oh, they're checking, this is good. So the majority of people probably had no idea that right in front of them, as they were letting the water run, they were getting a false reading.
Absolutely. What I want everyone to understand when they see this message is never be afraid to question the officials who come inside of your home. Never be afraid to ask, why are you doing this? Do not allow them to barge into your home without permission. Do not allow them to say, well, I don't know, because that is totally ridiculous. Always, if your water smells bad, look bad, tastes bad, have it checked out. Do not be afraid to check out, to approach the health department to say, I know something is wrong. I know it. But unfortunately, the health department was also inclined to be part of this, confederacy. That's exactly what it was. It was a total confederacy. All the agencies got together to devise an attitude of, well, we're just going to let that slide by. If you believe there's something wrong with your water, and when you go to the doctor, make sure that they are aware of what you believe, because it has to be documented. And furthermore, your zip code is very important. So that also, crosses over to the preconditions now for your insurance. And this is another avenue in which the policies are in detriment right now. They do not want, in fact, the policymakers are trying to confuse the general population, saying that, because of preconditions, that their people are finding now that they are absorbing with inside of their body, and is providing them with ill health. So pay attention to what's going on. Pay attention to what's going on with these policies right now when it comes to your health. This is all part of it. So understand that. Make sure that it's documented what zip code that you're in. So if something happens in the future, you cannot be denied health care.
And I wanted to ask you, because there were several elements to this. So first, we found that officials went in to people like Fred's home and illegally tested. But the other part, which I didn't know until the EPA told me, state officials were not supposed to be going into people's homes and testing in the first place. If you were on the Sentinel program, which again was the gold standard official testing that the state of Michigan, they chose the homes like Fred's. Why they chose certain homes is a different story. But they chose these homes. They were supposed to simply drop off test kits with the residents, with instructions, and the residents were supposed to take the samples. So the state officials going into residents' homes, flushing the water samples, we found many instances where state officials would go in, they would run the water, in some cases 2 to 3 minutes, in some cases 10 to 15 minutes, and then they would put down on the paperwork that the resident took the sample. Well, we have residents saying that's a damn lie. We watched, one resident in particular, watched with her kids as they ran her water for 2 to 3 minutes. This poor woman has had 2 sets of miscarriages in 2 years. She's lost twins twice. Pregnant with twins in 2015, pregnant with twins in 2017. They came in, they ran her water for 2 to 3 minutes. They told her the result was 2 parts per billion, which is under the limit. Well, the EPA came back 2 months later. They tested that same kitchen sink. They did not run the water. They did it the right way. They turned the water on, put it in right. They found 85 parts per billion. Well, the state, I asked them 5 times, could you just tell me simply, yes or no, did you send officials to this woman's home? They refused to answer me. So it seems that not only did we find here that they were illegally running the water, they were not supposed to be testing for you.
That's absolutely correct. See, this is a broad perspective of what went wrong, what went awry here in the city of Flint. I do know that on many occasions, the fire hydrants were constantly being, just flowing out just to go ahead and clean the system. Now, one thing about the city is the city of Flint is a testing ground that, this could happen any place in the United States. Believe me, this could happen any place. And see, after a period of time, they say, okay, Flint, you've satisfied the needs. Your water is fine, okay, for you to go ahead and drink under, regular consumption. But people have to understand this is an ongoing process. The damage is currently done to your health and also to your children's health and anyone else who happened to pass through the city of Flint who were engaging inside of drinking the water and using the water repeatedly. But where is this going to stop? When are the officials finally going to say, look, I've made a mistake. It's nothing wrong with admitting that you didn't know. In fact, you were duped yourself. But when you go out and consistently lie, okay, believing that the people are so, should I say, insensitive or stupid to understand what the truth is, give us the opportunity to, if we're stupid, we're stupid. If we're not, at least give us the truth. Do not deny the truth, because in essence, the home values went down immediately. Flint had a bad outlook on itself. People just could not, have a better quality of life. This is troubling. And it's so troubling that we're still going through this process. And we will not find out, the end results for another 2 or 3 generations, maybe. So this is just a small, minute case of improper use of power, improper use of privilege, and most of all, improper use of the truth.
I think your dog agrees. I wanted to ask you, so common sense, okay? If officials went in to your home and tested the wrong way, if they went into dozens of other people's homes and tested the wrong way, who knows how many more people they went into their homes and tested the wrong way. If they did that, how do you know what the lead levels are if they didn't test the right way?
Well, see, we'll never know. That's the problem. We'll never know the truth. Because of all the homes that were tested, I opened up my doors to it because I wanted to share what had occurred to me. what had occurred to some other persons that I'm aware of. But if people are too afraid to say what the truth is or to speak, their minds when they have the opportunity, our voices really are not heard. They're never going to be heard. Okay? Just for a small period of time until somebody can go ahead and receive their golden parachute, then they go bye-bye. And then they will say, well, I'm unaware of that. Or another cliche is that, there's so many cliches out there that they could use nowadays. You don't know what's factual and what's not. Because once they're out of office, they're not held accountable. They cannot be brought back to face the decisions that they made.
And to be clear, just so everyone understands, they came in, they ran your water, you said sometimes 3 minutes, sometimes 5, and when you asked them, why are you running the water like that, because you knew they weren't supposed to, they looked at you kind of like with a blank stare and couldn't give you an answer.
More so than that, I understand that they had no answer. They were told not to answer. Like I said, this was about people at the lowest possible denominator to receive a paycheck for providing a service for the persons who were trying to cover up the problems and the chaos that was going on here in the city of Flint. And like I say, once again, we will not know the results of or the damage for at least another 2 or 3 generations.
Mm-hmm. And overall, based on what we found, would you be surprised if this improper testing was much more pervasive all around Flint?
I'm not surprised at all. In fact, I'm not surprised about anything that I've seen that has been conducted thus far. We had an issue about lead some years back, for the paint. All right, they had a lead abatement program. Now they're dealing with the water. Now they're dealing with old lines. And I do understand that they did try to correct some of these measures by running new lines, all right, to the homes. But then let's think about the lines that supply the supply lines. What do they look like? Are the main pipes of water, are they being right now repaired or replaced? We don't know. We don't know to the extent of how it's being conducted, how much is being spent, or the progress. We have yet to receive progress reports to allow us to fully understand what the conditions are of the existing pipes, the supply pipes, and how they're being cleaned up and corrected and replaced.
And let's get down to the nitty gritty. It doesn't seem to me, if this happened, big if this happened in a Ann Arbor or Grand Rapids, somewhere upper middle class, not a 42% poverty rate. Number one, I don't know if it would happen in a place like that. But number two, do you think they'd be going into people's homes and intentionally testing the wrong way to try and sweep it under the rug?
Well, the outcry in those type of environments would be much different than they are here. Primarily here, they anticipate you being so ignorant that you don't know what type of questions to ask. Now, in Ann Arbor, you can see, you know that the educational inclinations are much higher than they are here. But more so, I believe that because the establishment or the system does know that the outcry will be far greater for correction and immediate correction than it would be right here in the city of Flint because of its social and economic breakdown.
And lastly, what should people do? Because it seems to me that essentially you have it was all out in the open that they did this. The residents didn't know that they were testing illegally. For what we know, it's in a couple dozen homes, but it could be more. We only knocked on 400. Do you think there needs to be retesting done from truly independent people that are not associated with the state? Would you like to see them restart the free distribution of water while they're investigating this? Because it seems to me, Aaron Brockovich told us, even if one sample was done illegally, you have to assume all of them were.
Water is essential for life in itself. Water should still be distributed until we fully know the extent of the damage that has already occurred and also what is going to be done to ensure that this will not happen again. Now, Tuesday is the day that we have to vote. get out and vote, and then pressure our representatives to look once again right here in Flint to see what they can do to assure that this will not happen again inside the state of Michigan.
And do you think, based on what happened in your home, the other homes we found, however many homes we didn't find that this happened, do you think they essentially knowingly cooked up the data to sweep this under the rug?
That was the intention in the first place, because they had to protect those who initiated this problem in the first place. Come on, cooking the books is nothing new. A lie is a lie. The truth is the truth. So when are the persons who caused this problem in the first place, when are they going to stop denying that they had a full hand and they knew exactly what they were doing?
I'll end with praise the Lord. Thank you.